Good morning, and welcome to a new year. It's hard to believe. You know, it was back in 1564, most scholars believe that was the year, in Kinswick, England, that they made an interesting discovery. It was a discovery of a material that they believed was lead, and yet it was a soft lead. And it turned out that this was kind of new chemistry. Chemistry was in its infancy stages. What they really discovered was graphite, not lead. And this was such a pure and solid and huge deposit. In fact, to this day, it's the largest deposit of that type of graphite ever found in the world. And because it was so solid and pure, they were able to saw it into sticks, and they found that it was great for writing on paper. Well, they thought it was lead, and they now use it to write on paper. In the end, it's exactly what got put into pencils, and it's why you and I still have a pencil lead. But it was this incredible gift of graphite that they had discovered. The only problem was it was so soft that quite often it would break. And so it was an Italian couple, Simonia and Lindiana Bernicati. They came up with a brilliant idea. They took two pieces of wood, and then they carved out the center piece in kind of a circular shape. Then they put in one of these graphites or lead, and then they glued it back together, and now you could hold it, and when you needed to, you could shave it down, and you now had a pencil. This is an instrument that truly would revolutionize writing and help change the world. But it was in 1795 that Nicolas Jacques Conté, who really found he could take graphite powder and mix it with clay and fire it in a kiln, who now began to be able to produce so many more pencils than it ever could be produced just by carving and sawing out the graphite that they had found there in England. He actually was a part of Napoleon's army, and in the end, he began to make pencils, so many pencils. And it was a great invention, and it did change the world. But the problem was, how do you correct a mistake? How do you get rid of your mistakes? Now, people tried all kinds of things. They tried using breadcrumbs. They used wax. All kinds of things to try to get rid of it. But it wasn't really until Edward Narmy in England, 1770, he took a gum elastic. It was a material from a tree that was gum elastic that was kind of pulley and soft, and found that he could rub that on this graphite and it would take it off the paper. And because it was working and he would rub it and rub it and rub it, they began to call it rubber. The problem was it would crumble and it smelled. It wasn't until 1839 when Charles Goodyear learned how to vulcanize this gum elastic and truly make it into a soft, rubbery type of existence and cure the smell. And now they begin to use that new rubber more and more for erasing. It was in 1858 that Hyman Lippmann got a patent to now take this new product of rubber and put it on the end of a pencil. What a revolutionary idea. It had been almost 300 years since we invented the pencil, and there were so many mistakes that needed to get rid of. But it wasn't until then that we finally had something to erase. As you and I start the new year, I couldn't help but think, we've written our life story. And as you and I start this new year and we look back over the past, it's easy to see lots of things we would like to correct, things we'd like to get rid of. And the good news is we do have an eraser. It's the gift of God's grace. The gift of God's grace that promises those mistakes can be erased. And you and I get to start with a fresh slate as we begin this new year. I hope as you and I start this new year, we understand the gift of God's grace and don't feel held back by the mistakes of the past. You and I this year are going to be committed to our theme, love your neighbor, no exception. We're carrying it on for a second year because there are so many issues that we know we'll be dealing with in 2021. And this is going to be a year where we're going to be filled with hope, and we're going to work so hard to grow in our love. One of the ways we're going to do that, you heard on Sunday, was we hope you have your Love Your Neighbor, No Exception calendar. If you don't, you can come by either church campus up north or downtown, pick one up or call us and we'll be happy to get one to you. And then every day there is a saying, and every night Reverend Wendy Lambert is going to talk about what that saying is and kind of what does it mean for our lives. So you can start your day with a daily devotional that is online. You can start at Coffee with Bob. You can end your day with Love Your Neighbor, No Exception, as Wendy talks about that statement. I'm really committed, and I believe that you and I have the chance to let the past go, move into this future with hope and with love. And we're going to make 2021 a great year. Have a good one.